Hello, and welcome to Folklore and Flourish, the Legends Reborn folklore podcast, brought to you by Blue Box 29. This podcast is at the very heart of who we are and what we create, the myths, the lessons, and the forgotten wisdom that breathe into the Legends Reborn chronicles. Every story we write and every world we build, every character we reimagine is rooted in the ancient tales that shape humanity. This show is my way of honoring those roots, sharing their magic, and inviting you into the stories that inspire our books and our souls. I'll see you in there. I really was good at math, but the only thing I really used in the real world was like geometry. And I think it was the only class that wasn't taken seriously.
Just because geometry is sacred.
I mean, that guy at Reggae Rise Up, when you were talking, I watched Mark, like he was just very grateful, thankful. And I watched this person in front of him who was with his wife, because they were definitely married. The love there was like no joke. But he was nodding at everything Mark said. Like what you said, he was just like nodding, and you just see him like look up to the sky, like whatever he believed in, he needed it. And it's just, you could have lit up that mark on him, that like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just awesome to see that, because he transferred it to his wife. You know what? I did have absolutely every right to be angry about that.
Yeah.
I am angry with this person.
Yeah.
This was a boundary that was chosen to be crossed.
Correct.
And that's something that I really just, being marked is like, okay, just because you're the only one capable of being that better person doesn't mean you have to be. Yes, that's why you're capable of being it. Hey everyone, today is January 2nd. Today's topic is the mark. I'm having to come in a little bit later in the day to redo this due to some technical issues, but no worries, you're still going to get your episode. So today being January 2nd, the mark, we are still in winter, which is all about that inner shadow work, the archetypes of crossing the threshold, transformation, all that beautiful jazz. And this week in particular, since we're on week 1, we are on the awakening. So today's 4 stories for the mark, the awakening, come from Greek, Hindu, Slavic, and Romani cultures. And those are our 4 stories today. Remember that your theme is to help you scope the story so that you kind of understand what we're going for with them and you know what to reflect on. So again, January 2nd, the mark. Enjoy. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that.
Story 1. Achilles and the Place Untouched. Before Achilles had a name that echoed across battlefields, before poets shaped his anger into song, he was only a child in his mother's arms, and his mother knew. Thetis, daughter of the sea, had heard the murmurings of fate long before the boy took his first breath. The Moirai had spoken, as they always did, not in kindness, but in certainty. Her son would become the greatest warrior of his age, His glory would be unmatched. His life would be brief. Thetis was a goddess, but she was also a mother. And like all mothers who hear such words, she sought a way around them. In the deepest night, when even the gods slept lightly, she carried her infant to the river Styx, the black water that marked the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead. Its surface did not ripple. Its depths did not reflect the stars. This was not a river that forgave mistakes. Thetis held Achilles tightly and lowered him into the water. The Styx touched his skin, and where it touched, it sealed him. Bone hardened, flesh turned unyielding. Fate slid away, unable to take hold. She submerged him completely, save for one small place, the heel by which she held him fast. When she lifted him from the river, the child cried, and the sound echoed strangely against the banks, as if the world itself had noticed what had been done. And Achilles grew. He ran faster than other boys. He struck harder. Blades glanced off him. Spears shattered. The story spread quickly, as stories always do. Invincible, they said. Favored by the gods. Untouchable. But the Greeks knew better than to believe in perfection. They understood that fate, once spoken, did not vanish. It waits. The place untouched by the river did not mark Achilles as weak. It marked him as chosen. His strength and his vulnerability were bound together, inseparable. The very act that made him extraordinary also ensured that his destiny remained intact. Achilles himself did not always know this. He felt different long before he understood why. His rage burned hotter. His pride cut deeper. He stood apart even among heroes. The mark on his body shaped the mark on his soul. To the ancient Greeks, this was not tragedy yet. It was inevitability. They told this story not to warn against greatness, but to explain it. To be chosen by fate was never a gift without cost. Glory demanded payment. Difference demanded consequence. And when the arrow finally found the place untouched, it was not betrayal. It was completion. The story ends not with mourning, but with remembrance. Achilles lived briefly, fiercely, and fully marked. And in doing so, he became exactly what fate had promised. Story 2, Karna, born of the sun and cast into the river. Before Karna had a name spoken in courts or in battlefields, before his loyalty and generosity became legend, he was a secret carried alone. His mother was Kunti, a young woman of royal blood who had been given a sacred mantra before she understood its weight. The mantra could summon a god, and in her youth, curious and unguarded, she spoke it aloud. The sun answered. Sure, radiant and unavoidable, appeared before her. For their union, a child was conceived, shining even in the womb. When the boy was born, he did not enter the world like other children. He came already marked. Golden armor fused to his skin. Earrings bright as dawn hung from his ears. These were not ornaments. These were signs. Proof that the child was born of divine fire and destined for greatness. But Kunti was afraid. The world she lived in was not kind to women who bore children outside the bounds of marriage, nor to children whose origins unsettled social order. Though she loved the child, fear outweighed devotion, and so, with hands that trembled, she placed the infant in a basket and set him upon the river. The river carried him away. Karna did not cry. The old tellings say the sun watched silently as the water bore his son from sight. The child was found and raised by charioteers, people of skill and honor, but low status in the rigid order of the world. Karna grew among them, knowing nothing of his divine origin, yet never escaping its mark. The armor could not be removed. The earrings could not be taken off. His body declared him different long before he understood why. As he grew, Karna discovered his strength. He trained endlessly, driven by hunger he could not name. He sought teachers, warriors, kings. Yet again and again he was turned away. His skill was undeniable, but his birth was questioned. His worth was measured not by ability, but by lineage. This rejection carved something sharp into him. When Karna finally found a teacher who would accept him, he did so under false pretenses, hiding his true background. Even then, fate did not loosen its grip. A curse fell upon him when deception was revealed, ensuring that his greatest knowledge would fail him at the moment he needed it most. Still, Karna did not turn bitter. He became known for generosity so complete it bordered on self-destruction. He gave without hesitation, even when the cost was ruin. When a god came disguised as a beggar and asked for an armor that protected his life, Karna did not refuse. He cut it from his own flesh. The sun wept. The gift that had marked Karna as divine was surrendered freely, because that was who he was, marked not only by birth, but by character. In the great war that followed, Karna stood firm in loyalty, even when loyalty led him toward death. Only at the end did he learn the truth of his birth. Only then did the world realize what it had cast aside. To the Hindu tradition, Karna is not remembered as a villain or a hero alone. He is remembered as a lesson written in fire and blood, that being chosen does not guarantee belonging, and that divine marks do not shield one from suffering. Sometimes they ensure it. Story 3. The Child Born of Fire. In the old Slavic lands where winter pressed long and hard against the walls of homes and the hearth, determined whether a family lived or died, fire was never taken lightly. Fire warmed, fire fed, fire destroyed, and sometimes fire marked. The elders told of children born during storms, during eclipses, during nights when the wind howled like something alive. These children survived fevers that took others. They cried less. They stared longer, and often, somewhere on their skin, a mark appeared. A birthmark shaped like a flame, an ember, or a scorch that had never faded. Such children were called fireborn, and no one celebrated this openly. Fire was sacred, but it was feared. A hearth kept alive through winter was a blessing, but a single spark could burn a village to ash. To be touched by fire at birth meant carrying both protection and danger within one body. And that's why fireborn children grew differently. They sensed things others did not. They woke before storms. They avoided places where death lingered. Some spoke to shadows as if expecting answers. Animals watched them carefully. Dogs sometimes refused to approach, and horses grew restless. Parents loved these children fiercely, but quietly. Pride was dangerous. Attention was worse. The old stories say that when a fire-born child reached adolescence, the mark began to matter more. Dreams intensified, fevers returned without illness. Restlessness took hold. The child felt pulled toward forests, crossroads, or abandoned places drawn by something they could not name, and the elders watched closely. Some fireborn became healers. They worked with herbs and heat, drawing sickness out through sweat and smoke. Some became wanderers, unable to remain long in one place, carrying news and warnings between villages. A few became seers, speaking truths that unsettled those who heard them. And some burned too brightly. Those who do not learn restraint destroyed themselves or others. Anger flared quickly. Passion overwhelmed judgment. Fire that was not tended consumed everything it touched. This was the lesson hidden inside the tale. Fire is not evil, but it must be held. To the Slavic people, the fire-born child represents transformation itself, a being shaped by the same force that forged tools and weapons, baked bread and raised homes. To carry fire within was to live between creation and ruin. The mark was never an accident. It was a reminder that some people are born to change the shape of the world around them, whether they intend to or not, and that such power, if unacknowledged, becomes destructive. The elders taught that the fireborn must learn early to tend the flame, not worship it, to know when to warm and when to step back, to accept that their life would never be ordinary. Fire does not allow stillness, and neither do those it chooses. Story 4. The Child Touched by the Moon. Among the Romani people, the road is not an accident. Movement is inheritance. Memory is carried in song, in hands, in the way fire is built and broken each night, and the moon watches all of it. The elders say that some children are touched by the moon before they are born. This touch is not always visible. It does not always leave a scar or a mark the eye can see. But it leaves restlessness. It leaves longing. It leaves a pull towards the horizon that cannot be explained why. These children are often born under a full moon or during a night when the sky feels too close. Sometimes they cry differently. Sometimes they fall silent and stare upward, eyes following light that others do not notice. They grow quickly in one way and slowly in another. A moon-touched child may struggle to remain still. They wander from campfires. They listen too deeply to music. They feel sorrow and joy with equal sharpness. They belong everywhere and nowhere at once. The elders do not try to stop this. To do so would be dangerous. The moon governs cycles, tides, blood, departure and return. To be touched by it is to live in rhythm rather than in place. These children are not meant to root. They are meant to carry. Stories say the moon-touched often become storytellers, musicians, healers, or watchers. They remember what others forget. They carry grief away from places that cannot hold it anymore. They bring news without knowing how they learned it. But their path is not easy. The world mistrusts those who do not settle, those who do not explain themselves cleanly. The moon-touched are often misnamed, misunderstood, and feared. They learn early that belonging is conditional and that movement is safer than staying too long. Still, the elders say the moon does not choose lightly. A child touched by the moon carries memory across distance. They remind people that life is not meant to be owned or fixed in one shape. They are the living thresholds, walking between places, times, and hearts. The mark they carry is not a wound, it is a direction. And when they walk beneath the night sky, the moon follows, as it always has.
Okay, so the day's thread is across every culture today, those who are chosen are marked, not always visibly and not always gently. Some are set apart by fate, some by birth, some by fire, movement, or loss. The mark is never an accident. It is not a reward. It is a direction asking to be followed. So, what did you think about those? The lesson of them today was that your strangeness is sacred.
Mm.
So, what did you think? Did you have any thoughts on those?
Well, I'm strange, so that helps.
Yeah, I was actually wondering which one, if either, you felt kind of spoke to who you are, the fireborn or the moon touch
So,
child.
um, so I was trying to pay attention really good and mark things, but when the moon thing came up, I asked ChatGPT what the moon phase was when I was born. So probably the moon one spoke to me more.
Hmm.
Is that the one you were talking about?
The moon one definitely talked to me like a lot when I was
No,
reading
you
it.
said there was something that you thought before, and you were like, "Oh, we'll see what it."
What I thought before.
No, because you were like, "There's a story that you thought of me."
Yeah, and it was the fire and the moon because in the fire one, it says that some people are meant to change the world around them, whether they intend to or not.
Right.
But when it's not held, I mean, fire can be destructive and angry when it's not cherished. So yeah, the fire one was actually the one that I thought of you.
Right.
I definitely thought of myself for both, but more of the moon one.
Mm.
Um, that's, I guess, I moved like 6 times in one year. When I was 22, I think I moved 6 different times within that year. So I just did not want to stay put. I think the longest since I've been an adult living anywhere is like 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. The longest I held a job was 4 years, 4 to 5. 'Cause I don't know. You get to that threshold and
like
something happens.
stagnant kind of heart.
Yeah, but just something in the universe is like, all right, on to the next. Okay, you got to move.
100%.
So that part's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's I think the biggest thing that was hard to read is that to be different is to suffer in
Yeah.
itself. Um, and I think that's where you see a lot of people that just they can't find their home, like their tribe, they can't find their drive or what it's supposed to be. And it's just because it's just something in their soul is meant for more. I really think that.
100%. I know I was there, and then I found people that helped open my eyes to what is I view reality now. Like,
Right.
to where I know I'm going to meet the people that we are supposed to be connected with, that I'm supposed to help, or maybe they help us, or whatever it is.
Right. And I mean, like when I graduated high school, you have to do that senior project.
Mm.
And it's this whole thing of what do you want to be the rest of your life? And I don't know, at 17, trying to think of what I wanted to do for 20, 30 years nonstop just to make it to after that.
Right.
It's like ridiculous to me. It just baffles me. I remember the presentation was I have no idea what job I'm gonna have because I truly didn't believe it was there yet.
Yeah.
Like whatever I was going to do, it wasn't there yet. So how I remember the video was like all these statistics and how are we expected to choose at 17 and 18 what to do with our lives when there's so many different things that we may have to do that we don't even know about yet.
Right. Well, I think that's because, unfortunately, we were setting 17 to 18-year-olds up for failure because we don't teach them how to survive in the real world. We teach them math and this and that, but we don't teach them
Well, and
how to
it's
live.
just like not the right kind, Like I was so good at math. Like I really was good at math. But the only thing I really use in the real world is like geometry. And I think it was the only class that wasn't taken seriously.
Just because geometry is sacred.
Mm. And it's the only reason I use it all the time is for spatial awareness.
Really?
Like my spatial stuff. Yeah, I'm like Pythagorean theorem. Okay, what's the space here? That's what I use it for. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like it's that itch. Like I used to see it with students all the time. That just they're not built to sit down and to shut up
Right.
and to be talked to for 40 minutes, get a 2-minute break, 40 more minutes of being talked to.
I know it did not work for me. I would be like instantly tired or disassociated and just not caring.
Even the teachers that I loved, like there were some that just inspired and you just wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But to have that one teacher, that two, or maybe even have three, great administrator, but those one or two or four that drain you.
Yeah.
And it's, and walking in and you're knowing you're a restless soul and you just want to get going on things, find out who you are.
Mm.
And you sit there and you go in to work or to school or to anywhere and they show you a video that's on YouTube that you could have watched at home. Ooh, like it's like that. You could have been in an email. But I love the places that are designed for the restless, like the engineering schools in high school, the drama programs, like going to a school because some people do know.
Right.
Some people know, like it amazes me, like 5 years old, they knew what they were going to be because I think they connected to something that they had done before. And they're like, you know what? Either an interest or something I need to finish. But I don't think that we acknowledge the suffering that happens.
Right.
The choices that you make knowing that to be great is a burden for yourself, but that is the burden that you are meant to give to the world.
Yeah.
Or to take on for others, I think. So the reflection question building off of that is, I'm going to start doing the questions through I point of view,
Okay.
so that it's like when you hear it, think of it as it's speaking to yourself kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But so when did I realize I was different?
Mm.
So when did I realize I was different?
Is it the daily reflection?
Yeah, so
The
this
daily
is based
task?
on the mark and the four things. I mean, some of them didn't realize till the end, some realized right away. Some just itched and burned and were confused or denied their life or were denied.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's the worst thing is the people that are put in cages. And I'm talking like that spiritual mental cage.
Right.
Where
Not
they're
the actual
denied
physical.
their greatness.
Right.
They're denied their creativity and all of that. But was there a moment where like you remember, even if it wasn't like this big awakening, but just you look around and you just socially or whatever, you're like,
I know for
something's
sure.
off.
Yeah, for sure. Within the last couple years, 100%, I have stepped into that. Um, an exact moment, I'm not sure. I know throughout my life, I've felt different with stuff and needing to do stuff and that drive and just knowing that something is off. I've always had that
Mm.
feeling like something's not right. Supposed to be doing something else, you know.
Oh.
But you got to get there first. You got to climb the ladder to get on the roof. And I just, you know, I there's probably a million different paths that I could have taken, and I took obviously the path that I did for whatever reason. Everybody takes it for, everybody's on their own journey. So the path that you take, you don't hate for it. Everything that happened within that path, it was guiding you to the moment that you're looking at this video right now and listening to us. So it put you here for a reason. I'm a huge advocate of everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah, it's just finding that reason can be really hard. Um, I think that's where that uncomfortability is pushing you towards
yeah,
something. It's like that mark is calling you,
right. I
whether
am.
you can see it or not. Yeah, I would say, I think I really started realizing I was different in a huge shift moving into my freshman year of high school.
Really?
I just, I really, there were so many things I didn't understand.
Mm,
I didn't understand why other people didn't understand the social behaviors that were okay in the sense of just being kind,
mm,
manipulating people's futures because as an adult, you're mad at another adult.
right.
So you take it out on kids. Like I felt that
That's
about through three different adults that didn't like one of my parents.
wow.
And it was just a huge shift and it was hard. And then I had a lot of that be kind of like you're expected to be your siblings. And I mean, I had three older siblings,
Right.
and the one right above me graduated the year before I went into high school. All-state athlete, several sports, was amazing at certain things. So when you're built, I mean, she was in much better shape than me, but when you have the same body type,
Yeah.
and the coach can see what that body type can do, they know that willpower, that drive. It was kind of hard. I mean, there were few people that knew how hard that was. But I think that they were also the people that had felt that same thing. So like there were senior like guys that were on the football team that noticed, like, I mean, I've talked to you about like the one that was pretty much a big brother to me.
Right.
He noticed, my mom did, but like my teammates for 4 years didn't notice,
Wow.
And I just think how many people were like that I didn't notice because they weren't in my social group.
Right. Oh, I know that. Like, I feel that 100% because I always felt like an outsider, no matter what. Even to like, it was crazy when I came back. People were like, "Oh man, you were so funny, and we loved hanging out with you." And I was just like, "Man, I didn't feel that. I felt like I was alone all the time. Even when, like, I mean, obviously you'd go hang out with your friends and stuff, but like, it
But
just,
to feel lonely when you're
yeah,
with people,
oof,
to feel lonely when you're with people you love that makes me sick because it's
yeah,
not them.
right,
It's just something within you.
Yeah, you're just not where you're supposed to be, so you're not feeling that energy's off, you know?
Yeah, I think that's why I know a point that really stuck with me is the Romani one, the moon one again. Just that, I mean, you and I have talked, and I mean, sometimes it's not the best talk, and I know that from me, it's selfish on my part, and I think you'll know when I say it, but that pull towards the horizon that you can't explain why. Like, I think that was the thing that I was like, whoo, yeah.
Right.
And you just know, like, it's there. It's like seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, knowing you're capable already of dealing with the shadows and the darkness. And you fought so long in there that you really, truly encourage it now. You're like, come on, Mike, step out. Like, step out of the shadows because I can take care of myself now.
Yeah.
But you see that light and you just, ooh, it would just be so nice to feel it versus just saying it. I think that really stuck.
Yeah.
You know? And then the definitely feelings, I mean, I think that there are a lot of people nowadays that are getting prescribed this and that, diagnosed as this and that, because they feel their emotions with equal sharpness.
Yeah.
Like that sorrow and joy with equal sharpness. So I don't know, you might not, I definitely have. I mean, joy almost hurts just as bad as grief does to me. I mean, you've seen me when I'm so happy that I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like I'm uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, got some healing to do there, but ooh, but how do you heal that? Like, because how many people, I mean, my practitioner now, that's why I adore him because no, it's not mental.
Yeah.
Like something within your soul is calling you somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be because he was like did another profession first.
Yeah.
You know, so he came in as a different way, but just like knowing that it's okay that those emotions are felt so intensely or not intensely at all. Like being able to be with someone who doesn't, who carries their mark differently. You know, I think that's interesting to think about. But definitely wish, not necessarily wish, but there are some people that I think back to from high school that I really wasted my time on the wrong things.
Yeah. Oh,
Really did. And I see them now and I'm just like rooting them on. I like their stuff on social media. Whether they see it or not, it's not the point, but it's just, ooh, you had it figured out.
yeah.
Like now I get why you didn't want to be around me and other people that were similar to me in high school.
Yeah.
Like you knew what we didn't and you were suffering in a different way than I was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had like 3 or 4 really good friends that I went to school with.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of, I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel about it is, I don't know. And then I guess we talked about it, something interesting that we talked about the other day was I went to my kindergarten year, I think were some of my greatest friends I've ever had. Like besides the 2 or 3 you met, you know? Yeah. It was just something about it. I mean, we watched the Spirit movie almost every day. Like that's who we were. We were playing in the basement of our friends' houses, like hung up almost every single day. We didn't end up graduating together. One moved away that next year. One moved away in middle school. And I see them now. And those girls are like witchy. Like, yes. Like they're doing the stuff that I'm doing. But they figured it out.
Yeah.
Like they went about it a different way. And I look back at the picture we have in my house and I'm just like cheering and stuff. And I see them gaining their voices more. And I just remember like I felt like I was the voice. I was it's all about me open, but then when we hung out, not that way. And so it's just kind of cool that like when you're marked and you feel people that have the similar marks, you will find your path eventually.
Yeah.
You just have to allow yourself to suffer a little bit,
Right.
which is hard.
Yeah. I actually saw a really cool video today dealing with suffering. And becoming enlightened or whatever you want to call it, right? The more that you heal and the more that you become more spiritually aware and the higher you become, you know, we're say you're just a better person, right? But now, unfortunately, you're going to see more negative stuff because there has to be a balance, the yin and yang. And I'm a big fan of it. So seeing this video today, it makes sense that I saw it because that was the big thing is like the more we're coming up and we were having a conversation is why is all this negative stuff happening? And it's because we're elevating, we're seeing the negative. So now we just got to figure out that balance to be able to move separately from it because it's not that it's necessarily bad. It's just, well, it is, but it's not our energy. It's not something we align with. So we just need to move out of this area. You know what I mean?
100%. And it is also that I hate it, yes, that tomorrow is always better. Tomorrow will be better. And I've talked to you about this, and I'm saying it now, knowing that obviously we've talked about it and I'm working through it.
Right.
I can acknowledge that it is something that I have hated to hear, is that you have time and tomorrow's going to be better. Because any of you that have heard that and are like, okay, but I'm 28 years old and like the first 26, 27 were not great. So like how many tomorrows do you look for?
A bunch. I had to find a bunch.
And then when you know people that were your age or younger that have died, and the audacity of someone to right after say you have nothing but time.
Right.
It's like, ooh, I mean, I've seen people that have lived the perfect life and all the essence of what you should do, and they're gone.
Yep.
Like in the grand scheme of things, they were much more worthy social standards of having a longer life than some of the things I've done. And yet they're gone.
Yeah, but that was their mission. They were here for a reason, and their reason is complete.
And I think that
or
that's kind of
the reason, whatever their effect was, whether it's happening, it's going to make it happen,
right.
Whatever that snowball is, that's why they came.
Well, and that's where I was kind of getting to is unfortunately tomorrow is never better until you acknowledge just how angry you are about today.
Right.
And I think that for myself, the anger has been it was something I let so freely out when I was younger. And in my younger 20s, I really worked on it. And my mid to upper 20s, it's been hard. My anger is definitely the emotion that calls for the most acknowledgement. I think anger and grief do.
Right.
And all my friends are probably gonna be like, there's some things that definitely worth grieving over, other things that, all right, Jane, that was a little bit self-inflicted. So grief is also self-inflicted. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is taking responsibility for what are you sad about? Okay, what part did you have to do with that?
But taking responsibility does not mean it's like a huge mix of all these different things, and it can be one way, one day the other, but it does not mean that you take it all on yourself.
No.
Because something with my anger lately is pinpointing, you know what, I did have absolutely every right to be angry about that.
Yeah.
I am angry with this person.
Yeah.
This was a boundary that was chosen to be crossed.
Correct.
And that's something that I really just, being marked is like, okay, just because you're the only one capable of being that better person doesn't mean you have to be. Yes, that's why you're capable of being it.
Right.
Like in all actuality of things. Was that whole sense of, oh, you wanted patience, then I'm going to give you lessons to teach you patience.
Right.
Right? You wanted to be tough. You wanted to be able to stand against any adversary. Then I'm going to give you adversaries.
That was part of the video too. Right? It's like not necessarily that, but exactly what you're speaking about. Oh, you're getting better. Oh, you're going to have harder challenges now, so you can make it. I'm going to bring up
the decisions you made,
yeah,
that you've denied, that you walked away from, and I'm going to have them come full force. I mean, we've talked about that. People that are coming back into our lives full force.
Yeah,
and there's that little bit of why, but not really.
Yeah,
I get it.
Right.
And
It's just,
we'll see you soon. Like, they'll be here.
Mhm.
Sure they will, because that's a healing that we all need, and
Right.
healing's not pretty.
No.
And
No,
for the
healing
marks,
can be ugly.
but what if that mark is so significant? We were meant to be this so that we could be this.
Right.
So that I could teach you a lesson in this aspect. So that you can remember that you can be an abundance of things.
Yeah.
You are marked in your own story, but what marks do you have in other people's stories?
Yes.
That you don't know yet,
And I don't know if any of the future stories are going to come into play, but just like speaking of that, just like we've said, like you're a villain in somebody's story and you're the best kept secret in another one. And
and you're this amazing, like, mystical being in someone else's. Like, I truly believe that there's at least one person that you come in contact with that they think of you as that random person
that just walked by.
that just did something or said something, or just like, that guy at Reggae Rise Up. When you were talking, I watched Mark, like, he was just very grateful, thankful. And I watched this person in front of him who was with his wife, because they were definitely married. The love there was like no joke. But he was nodding at everything Mark said. Like what you said, he was just like nodding, and you just see him like look up to the sky, like whatever he believed in, he needed it. And it's just, you could have lit up that mark on him, that like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just awesome to see that, because he transferred it to his wife, that like, I love you kind of thing. And that's just so beautiful, But that's why we got to bring people on, because there are people we've done that to, and there are people that, unfortunately, I know I've had the very opposite effect of them.
For sure.
And granted, there's no one that's gotten worse from me than my family, my parents, for sure.
Yeah.
Bless them. All right, well, now that we're through that,
Yeah. Thanks.
you ready for your daily task?
I am. What do I get to do today?
Okay, so the daily task for everyone today is to trace an invisible mark over your heart and name one part of yourself that you once hid. Okay, so let me restart with that first part. Okay, you're going to trace an invisible mark over your heart. Okay, so like right here. Okay, and you're going to name one thing to yourself that you once hid. You can say it out loud, you can write it down. I suggest projecting it in some way. If you're not there yet, saying it in your mind is acknowledgement in some way,
Yes. Putting it out into the universe. Give it power.
If you would like to share with someone, I'm going to start asking some of our friends just these random questions.
Yeah.
I like to know.
Yeah.
So the reason you're going to do this is we're going to recognize what shaped us. Okay. Rather than erase it. So what shaped us that we once tried so hard to erase from us?
I love that. That totally has to do with, like, obviously this podcast in general, too. The stories that shaped history, now what shaped us. That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you want to add a little extra razzle dazzle, I would suggest going somewhere intentionally that you have felt love. Love for yourself, love for the environment. You can go jump. Ice fishing. If you love ice fishing, go out
Coming
to the
soon,
lake.
but it's raining outside on January 2nd.
I love the rain.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, maybe I go outside later today when it starts raining again. And that's it. I'm such a sucker for those rain moments too. But, and again, just acknowledge that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being that stubborn piece inside of me that I used to hate.
Right.
Because that piece of you is still hurting because it knows it wasn't the loved piece.
Yeah.
It was the different piece. Yeah. So, and then with that, just to remember that difference is not an error. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to be who you want to be deep down. It's who your soul is calling you to be. Thank you for walking this journey with me today.
These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.